he was over here and he was working in his house. He was on her his She did. She left a couple weeks ago. I told you. I thought it was hard and pretty. This is, okay. You were a horse girl? Did you own one? Across, and I was like, you gotta do something. She kicked me, and he acted like she was a real horse. He was like, were you standing behind her? You know, don't stand behind them, they get scared. I don't know. I don't actually have a way of telling this because it's a relatively new joke, and because no one would believe it, but that coach...
Yeah, my name's Victor. I just moved to New York recently, back in December. Yeah, it's nice. From Texas. And one of the first things that I noticed about living here is that the food here stinks. Food in New York is bad. Yeah, me and my friends went up and down Manhattan, and we were like, dude, there's no flavor here. Everything's bland. Turns out we all just had COVID the entire time. That's all it was. Food's pretty good. Not recommended. I don't know if I'm enjoying dating. I like dating. I like casual dating. I don't think I can do friends with benefits. So that's one of the benefits was like true love. I think I can do it. Otherwise, I'm not romantic. I still believe in chivalry. Like, I like whatever I see too. I was on the street the other night. I saw this guy. He was with his girlfriend. And I kissed the back of his hand. It's sweet. It's not that hard. I had him closer, he was actually just doing cocaine off of his face. That's all it was. I was like, chivalry's kind of a lot cooler. It's still pretty sweet. Yeah, I imagine the same what I did recently. I kissed his mouth. I didn't get pressing out. I was really nice.
I suggest if you are not smart enough to become a doctor, maybe get a dragon tattoo on your lower back, and that'll help you trap a doctor. We live about 2 blocks away from the hospital, and as a Filipino woman, I always have to explain to people that I am not a nurse, right? I am not a nurse. I just play one in my husband's sex fantasies. For his birthday in the pandemic, I dressed up as a nurse. I took him into the bedroom and I said, take off all your clothes and have a seat. And then I left him in there for an hour. I normally don't dress up for sex, but I do love dressing up for Halloween. And last Halloween, I dressed up as Yoda, right? Dress for the job you want, a tiny movie icon. And you know, I had a few drinks and I actually wanted to make out with my husband. And he's like, really? Really? You're gonna try to seduce me wearing that? And I'm like, do or do not, there is no try. Anyway, so it's been summer. All summer long, my husband's been like, hey, let's go camping. Do you want to go camping? Let's go camping. Right, that's how you know my husband's white. Why, white guys, why do you always want to take us camping? Why? Oh my God, I have been trying to answer this question for like years. And then finally last year, I saw that influencer girl went camping with her husband and she gone, Like, I'm not saying that all white guys want to kill us when we go camping. I'm just saying that my white guy might want to kill me when we go camping. When we first started dating, I always, as an Asian woman, wanted to make sure that my husband didn't have an Asian fetish, right? So I was like, hey, how many Asian women have you slept with? And he's like, 2. He's like, wait a second, how many white guys have you slept with? And I'm like, 2? Many? And he's like, do you have a white guy fetish? And I'm like, of course I do not have a white guy fetish, because yes, I have slept with a lot of white guys, but I've also slept with a lot of Asian guys, a lot of Latino guys, black guy. Which one? You know, that doesn't make me someone who has a white guy fetish, right? That just makes me someone with a lower back tattoo. You know, being married to a white guy, I do have to explain a lot of Filipino culture to my husband. And one of the issues we had was how to attend a Filipino party. We were going to a Filipino party, and my husband was like, oh my God, hurry up, you're gonna be late. And I'm like, oh honey, being late to a Filipino party is being on time. Okay, I remember growing up, my mom was late to every single party she went to. And some of those parties were at my house. You know, my husband, he loves Filipino food. He loves eating Filipino food at the parties. But sometimes he'll just eat a plate of food and think like, oh, he's done eating, right? Here's the thing about Filipino parties. You are never done eating, right? Because what do, Aaron? We eat, and then we eat, and then we dance, and then we sing, and then we eat some more. And even as the party's ending, we're not done eating. Because what do we do with the food? We wrap it up. We will be done eating for at least 2 to 3 days after the party ends, okay? My husband was horrified. He's like, oh my God, we can't take home some of this food. And I'm like, oh honey, we're not gonna take some of this food home. We're gonna take home a ton of this food, right? Because I brought my own Tupperware. Yeah, Filipinos, we're the original meal planners, but we do it with other people's parties and their food. Let's see, so we do have 2 kids. My 14-year-old son recently got into the specialized school, Brooklyn Tech. Yeah, he is so proud of himself. He posted it on Snapchat. He's like, I got into Brooklyn Tech. And I'm like, hold on, honey. Your Filipino mom made you study for that test every day for 2 years. We got into Brooklyn Tech. Okay, and last week he's like, oh mom, I don't know if I want to become a doctor like daddy. I think I want to follow in your footsteps and become a comedian. I know, right? And I was like, sure, follow in my footsteps. I became a comedian after I married a doctor. I will end on this. Oh, that was a 2-minute light? Cool. It is a serious time for Asian women. It's a really serious time. I recently took a self-defense class, right? And one of the tips was to walk with a friend, which is great advice, except all my friends are also tiny Asian women, right? Like, I'm 4'11", how tall are you? 4'8", okay. There seems to be a disagreement on the, okay, we'll say you're 5 feet tall. That's what I do too on my license. But seriously, like, to stay safe, 4'8", 4'11" and 5 feet tall? Should we walk together? Or should we walk stacked up upon each other? Hey, like that doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately, like Asian hate, it's nothing new. In the 80s, my dad used to carry around a pair of nunchucks, or nunchaku, as explained to me by white men who do martial arts. Right? Oh God, you know the type. They come into the Chinese restaurant and they're like konnichiwa, like ew, gross. Anyways, my dad was a nerdy engineer, right? He had never taken a day of martial arts in his life. He didn't know how to use the nunchucks, but he knew that the people who wanted to harm him would think he knew how to use the nunchucks. Yeah, that's right. My dad was so smart that he figured out how to fight racism with racism. Like, I wish my dad was still alive today so I could ask for his advice about fighting racism. And I think he'd be like, Patricia, walking on your friend's shoulders is not structurally sound for self-defense. And you would know this if you had become an engineer. Right, so one more, okay. I do carry around pepper spray for self-defense. And I saw on the label, it said, made in the USA, right? And I was thinking to myself, what is the spice level of a pepper spray made in America, right? Like, no offense, but I have seen my white husband taken out by garlic, right, by cilantro, right? Like, maybe we should invent a pepper spray from the Philippines. What could that be? Patis, bagoong. Oh God, you know what? Because that would stop an attacker, but also be extremely delicious. Right? By the way, if you want to support a small Asian business, follow us on Instagram. Okay, we're Banana Ketchup. That's been our show. I'm Patricia.
This is phenomenal. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Clap it up. Thank you.
I do want to let you all know where you can follow us on Instagram. I know you have your phones, I see some of them out. So open up your phone, go into Instagram, and follow the following. # Banana Ketchup Comedy. Banana Ketchup Comedy, excuse me.
Because there's a lot of people who just love banana ketchup, you know what I mean?
Banana Ketchup
people
Comedy.
who love banana ketchup comedy is us, okay? So,
And you can follow us online. Kyle, where are you at?
I'm at Kyle Marion.
I'm at Patricia Dawson Comedy.
And I'm very easy in life, but also on Instagram. At Dom Loves Life. Dom, like, not a sub. And loves life. Like, I love life. Although that's sometimes a lie. Anywho, but that's how you can find us online. What are your next upcoming shows?
Before that, we also just want to sing happy birthday to Dominique. It was her birthday yesterday.
Most of you guys are non-Filipino. Who are Filipinos here? Like 10% Filipino. Non-Filipinos. Welcome, regardless. And hopefully this is gonna be, this is not just gonna be the first. Right, Daddy OG? Yeah, I would like to congratulate, of course, a good friend of mine, DOG, of course, na kabisera. Palengke NYC and Hatsumo, so sarap. And of course, every one of the vendors every single vendor that's here today. Thank you and congratulations. Please, guys, give it up for all of them. So sarap are here as well, of course. And I was here when they trying to like mold everything from the scratch, and now they're here. And this is a last minute thing. So at the LG, I'm gonna kill you after this. So I used to sing and perform back in the Philippines. I used to be an actress back then, 1990s. If you know TGIS, I was part of that. And this is just a little, just to relax for you guys, since you guys saw our comedians. And if you know the song, please. Natural thing, I swear. Maybe soon, get about home. Maybe listen like home. One thing's for sure, I'm all I can. Spend too much time thinking of you, and I can't get you out of dream.